Well, I finally did it. I said I was going to do it before the election, and then after the election, I dawdled, I dragged my feet, I procrastinated. I went to CPAC, hoping to find the direction I was looking for in this decision, and now I've made it. I just became a Republican. I did it. There's my little certificate right there. I am now officially registered as a Republican in the state of New Hampshire. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about why I came to this decision to become a Republican. Now, I want to take you back to early November, end of October, early November, somewhere in that vicinity, when I basically made the decision that if the Republican Party was going to go in the direction of Donald Trump, I was actually completely on board with this direction. I liked some, not all, but enough of Trump's policies, and plus the Democrats had gone crazy. And so I was like, you know what? Why not? Why not become a Republican? I support more of what they do than I don't, and I still feel like I can become a Republican and still keep that independent streak that I've really tried to maintain all along. You guys know me. I call out both the right and the left, depending on who's being idiots at any given moment. And then the election happened. And then the chaos that ensued for months after. And I have to be honest, after the election, I saw a lot of things coming out in the MAGA movement and the Republican Party that I really did not like. I didn't like the neocons. I didn't like the RINOs. I didn't like the gay haters. I didn't like any of this stuff that I really had not seen for months prior to the election. Maybe it was because Trump was in office. Maybe it was because everyone was like, okay, we're on the same team. We're going to play nice. But then the minute that something doesn't go according to plan, all of the claws come out and all of the crazies start to come out. And, you know, if you put the Republican Party of the 1990s in front of me and said, Carlin, do you want to join this party? I would be like, hell no. The Republicans of the 90s are every single thing that I hated. And sadly, many of those Republicans are still out there today in the forms of neocons, in the form of RINOs, in the form of people who don't believe that LGBT people should be welcomed into the MAGA movement. I'm not on board with any of those things. And so I dawdled for a while. I did. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm an independent now. Maybe that's the way it should stay. But then I went to CPAC. And I went to CPAC primarily because I wanted to see what the conservatives were going to do in the quote-unquote post-Trump era. Were they going to keep down this America First populist path that Donald Trump had set them on, or were they going to go back to their old pre-Trump ways? And I got my answer resoundingly. The party is behind Donald Trump. Donald Trump is unequivocally the leader of the Republican Party. Anyone that tries to deny that, you just don't have your ear to the ground. You're not listening to the people in your own party. They love Donald Trump, and he is absolutely going to be setting the direction for the party in the future. Now, before anyone accuses me of being like a Trump cultist, I don't agree with everything Trump says and does. I don't know a single person who does. But the fact of the matter is that I do believe the American First agenda, the populist movement, I think that these are all really positive things that could actually make a very profound impact in the lives of real, everyday, average people in this country. I've said it over and over and over again. I don't actually think that this is a question of, frankly, Democrat versus Republican or left versus right or any of those things. I think this is a question of average, everyday people versus the establishment. That is who we should all be fighting. And frankly, whether you're on the left or the right, that is the common enemy that we all have. The establishment politicians that have been in government for years and years and years and years and years that hate people like you and me. And yeah, there are a lot of Republicans in that establishment. I'm looking at you, Mitch McConnell. I'm looking at you, Liz Cheney. That is not the Republican Party that I want to be a part of, with McConnell and Cheney and Mitt Romney. F them. No. However, that's not who's really in control of the Republican Party. And the more I hang around, people in the MAGA movement, the more I really see that it's about to go in a really different direction in 2022, and many of these RINOs are going to be booted right out to the curb, and I'm living for it. And frankly, even if they aren't, I think that I am in a better position to make the type of change and to support the type of change that I want to see in this movement as a Republican than I am as an independent. And I have to tell you, there's one more thing that happened today. Speaking of making change within the Republican Party, there's one more thing. Chris Chris Sununu, my RINO governor in New Hampshire. Now, Chris has been a RINO for a while. He's basically like a Democrat, but I haven't really been hammering him as much as I really could be until this morning. Now, Chris Sununu, you are on my shit list, Chris, because Chris Sununu has made this public statement opposing HB 544. But bills that start restricting free speech, no. I might not like what people say, I might not like the language, but you don't start doing it with a government is going to say what you can't say certain this. Now, let's set aside the bad grammar for a second. That is ripe for a lot of bad gray area. Chris, HB 544 has no gray area. HB 544 has very clear definitions. And here's what's going to happen in New Hampshire right now. Because Chris Sununu is a slick politician, right? So what he's going to do is the bill is almost certainly going to pass in the New Hampshire House. That's almost already a done deal. I'm still working on locking that down with many of the state reps, but that's looking pretty good. What could go wrong in this is if Chris Sununu decides that he does not want to sign this bill, what he's going to do is he's going to work with the senators, the Republican RINO senators who are kissing his ass in New Hampshire, and they are going to vote against the bill or not bring it up so that it never makes it to his desk to sign. So if HB 544, which as a reminder bans critical race theory from state agencies and state government contractors in New Hampshire, if this bill does not pass, that is directly the fault of Chris Sununu, the governor of my state, who supposedly is a Republican. See, one of the reasons I became a Republican today is because we need to push idiots like this out of the party. And if people like me aren't willing to step up and join the party and fight back from within, then we got no hope there. Now, here's what I know about Chris Sununu. Chris is going to run for Senate. He is going to run for Maggie Hassan's Senate seat, which comes up in 2022. He hasn't filed any paperwork yet, but this is like an open secret here in New Hampshire that Chris Sununu is going to run for governor. So, Chris, you have my promise now, my friend. If you do anything to screw with HB 544, not only will I fight you every step of the way, not only will I support a public pressure campaign against you and those RINO senators like you have never experienced before in your life, but I will make sure with everything that I have that you don't get that Senate seat that you want in 2022. I will make sure there is a primary challenger, even if I have to do it myself. I do not care. My preference would be not to do it, but hey, you know what? No one else wants to step up to the plate. I will primary you just to make you spend more money and to make you defend yourself when you're not even acting like a Republican. If you don't want to act like a Republican, I will make sure that every person in New Hampshire that is even thinking about voting for you knows that up front. So, if you want to change things from within, you got to be a part of the game. That's why I made the decision to become a Republican. And, there will be a lot of Republicans that are unhappy that people like me are coming into the party. But you know what? They're not on board with the message that Donald Trump had, the message that Donald Trump started. I'm completely on board with that message. So they can go screw and let us get to work and make sure we're helping real, average, everyday people. If they want to be a part of the establishment and kiss people like Chris Sununu's ass because he feels like he has so much money that he can't lose and that no one can come against him, think again, Chris. Think again. You go against me, I will become your worst goddamn nightmare.